Good evening. This is Viewpoint with Eniola. This wonderful evening, we'll be talking about cultural values. Let's see the impact of culture in our present day environment and see how far we've gone. Let's look at the challenges we're facing. Let's look at where we were and where we are now. If we are actually moving forward, or there are things we need to work on so that we can express ourselves, or we can utilize everything within our present and future environment, because we learned that culture is a way of life for some particular people with regards to religion, their modes of dressing, their cultural values, their discipline, their belief systems. And to date, we find ourselves in a corner whereby sometimes we don't really know what our cultural values are as humans, for example, or as a black man or a black woman in every areas of our lives, or wherever we find ourselves with regards to residents, our places of abode. We find, or it is statistics are shown that people are migrating every day, especially the black people. We're moving from one world to another. We're trying to occupy space. We're trying to find means of doing things in another different way, or in a different land, and what have you. And this brings us back to where we're coming from, where we are, and where we intend to go. And this evening, I'll be having the privilege and the pleasure to have a guest who will be throwing more light on the cultural value, how it affects us, what is shocking in it with our present situations, where we find ourselves now. How do we see it, or what's our view? And don't forget viewpoints about sharing your view, and making your view be heard, not just for people around you, but to people all over the world. And we've been privileged to have a platform where we can speak out, we can say our minds as things affect us. It is my own view, it is your own view, and we have a right to be heard. Several places around the world, we hear about freedom of speech, freedom of expressions. You have right to your thought, you have the right to your opinion. So it is high time you join us to share your own view with regards to cultural value. In a couple of minutes, I'll be introducing my guest this evening. Oh, she's a wonderful lady, and I think I will wait till she's joining me live to actually say a little about her. And if she permits, I also want to introduce her in the best way I can, because I find out that despite irregularities in our world, despite that we have so many people who are not making differences, if we look very well, there are thousands of people out there who are really agitating for change, and who are really occupying and filling spaces, right spaces, with the right mindset, with the right mentality. And such message we want to preach or bring to you, so that you can also add your own views, and together we'll make the world a better place. Don't go anywhere. The next couple of seconds, I'll be introducing to you Phoebe Ayale. Hi, good evening. Welcome to Viewpoint with Eniola.
Thank you. Good evening. Hi to all viewers.
Thank you. It's glad to have you here. It's a wonderful day on my end. How is it on your end? And it was a very rainy day on my end. Hope you didn't see much rain.
We did not too heavy, but just some light showers here and there. But it's welcome. The rain is welcome because it's made the weather a bit cooler, so it's welcome.
I think I have the same view. I share the same view on this, because the weather has been so scorching. It has been so hot in the past few days, and I think it's high time we started praying for rain. And we didn't have to pray; it was already shown in the weather forecast that it will rain. So we actually
Yeah.
expected it.
Hmm.
So thank you very much for spending our time to come on Viewpoint with Eniola to share your views with regards to cultural value. Can you please let our viewers know a little about you?
Thank you so much for having me. So my name is Phoebe Ayele. I've, I'm a Ghanaian by birth, by place of origin, a very happy, proud Ghanaian as well. And I've been in Germany for the past 16 years. Currently, I do legal translations in court most of the time, verbal translations, and of course, I'm still trying to upgrade my career. So I'm also learning. I'm studying law, and apart from that, currently my favorite thing to do now, my passion is YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I'm talking about life as an expat, as a foreigner in Germany, especially as an African in Germany.
One thing that's caught my attention is that you're studying law, that you're a student of law. I'd wanted to
Yes.
study law, but by chance, I find myself wanting to do more of the media now because it's good that you're a Ghanaian and you're proud to be one. I'm also a Nigerian, I'm proud to be one. And I see where I came from that we have lawyers now who are supposed to speak out and they're not speaking out. So, would you see yourself in the next year speaking out for the rights of Africans, for example, everywhere in the world?
Of course, I believe that human rights always have to be um, awarded to those who are humans. Like you need to have a human rights and exercise them. So whenever I feel like an infringement is going on and you have to speak out on it, you have to act upon it and make sure that the person's rights are given to them. Of course, I'm always going to be there for that person and do my part. And I hate it when there's injustice that you could help um, avoid. I want to make sure that everybody gets what is accorded to them. So definitely, yeah.
That's impressive. Would I say that your passion to intervene or to speak out made you think of studying law?
Well, when it comes to what made me want to study law, to be very honest, it was a very selfish personal decision. I wasn't thinking of helping other people. I was thinking of helping myself in the first place. Um, but along the line, of course, you realize that a lot of things are happening that people don't know how to go about it. And I would say the legal language is quite complicated. It's very complex if you do not know what is being talked about, what it entails. So of course, I want to explain or break down the legal language for people who do not have anything to do with it. So yes, in the course of as I'm growing up, as I'm maturing, I want to help others. I want to make things easier for my fellow people. So definitely yes. In the beginning was my personal thing, but now it's gone beyond that, and that's also another reason why I started the YouTube channel to make things easier for us to integrate this settlement system to find a way around here and to make things just flow for us.
Okay, that's impressive. First, it was being selfish, and second, you saw that okay, things you think you can do more than just to yourself, and it's really nice to see black people studying law in Germany. After your course, do you intend practicing law here in Germany? Because I've not seen a black lawyer. I don't know if they exist.
They do exist. I've had the pleasure of meeting a few. They do exist. They're not as many as would want to see them, and they do exist, and of course, they're also very, very motivating. It's motivating to see them work in the courts of law, to see them debate, to see them just do what they are supposed to do and do it well. It's good to see that. And it's also good to see foreigners that come here and within 1, 2 years, they've learned the language and they're ready to practice law, ready to study and make law happen as their career for them. And yes, it does happen. We are not so many, unfortunately, but we are definitely going to be more. Yeah.
That brings us back to our discussion for this evening: cultural value. Do you think we're occupying our space as Africans, especially the ones living in Germany?
Come again?
Do you think we're doing well enough as Africans? Talking about cultural values now, do you think we're doing well enough with regards to Germany as black people?
When it comes to culture, I always say that there is a difference between um, positive cultural values and vain cultural values. when it comes to the positive aspect of our culture, I think every country and even every ethnic group we have different, let me say, versions of the culture. But the main core of the culture is to make life easy for us as a community, to take care of each other, to treat each other well. And in most cultures, the basic thing is love. There's law of it, like everything has its principle, but because we have to love each other to exist, to coexist peacefully, I think that is one thing. Love and respect, they go hand in hand, okay? Now, when it comes to that, sometimes I feel like once we come to Germany, we forfeit or we forget to portray those positive aspects of our culture. For example, um, when in my culture in Ghana, they always say when you are a visitor, right, you pay respect to the land that you have entered. So, for example, if I know that, okay, I've entered Germany, I am not allowed to carry guns without
Permission.
without having the specific permission for it, the legal permission, and I still do it. I have disrespected the land I'm in, and that is
Hmm.
against my culture because I have actually gone against my cultural values. So I feel like when it comes to our cultural values, we have to do better in portraying these cultural values. Of course, we're over here we are hospitable. We are open to other cultures. We are nice to people. We are warm. Definitely, when I see African people, they are ready to help and all of that. But I think there are certain things that we are lacking on, and when we portray our culture in a good light, we can achieve more. Definitely.
That's impressive. I also agree with you, maybe 70%, that we are warming people. Yeah, way
What's the
back
other
home.
30%? Why is it
No,
separate?
70% is already a pass mark, but I wouldn't say 100% because I know that we are welcoming people when it comes to Africans way back at home. And in my few years of staying in Germany, I've seen that I've not really been welcomed by Africans, even as an African. And I'm from Nigeria. I see other tribes from Nigeria who will tell me I'm from the Yoruba race. They would say, ah, you are Yoruba. You understand? And there's this bell that rings in my head that, okay, I'm not accepted because I'm Yoruba. Or they won't say particular things in my presence because I'm Yoruba. So I think that we still have this division among ourselves. Do you see that also within the Ghanaian folks or among the Ghanaian folks?
Unfortunately, I'd have to say yes, and I think it's a human trait that you would want to treat somebody else worse off than you because it makes you feel better. There are certain things, and these are always based on past things that the person cannot even influence. So, for example, in Ghana, I'm from the Volta region. My parents are from the Volta region. I was born in the West, the Western region. So once I start speaking my mother tongue, people are like, hey, 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 hey. And no, these people are too active in voodoo that I've never even seen a shrine before. My mother has not seen a shrine before. But this is the notion that these people are powerful. They are no nonsense. Before they would even listen to you, they've acted on you really spiritually. These are all notions. You're not proven them, they're stereotypes, right? But people, human beings, we never want to dwell on those things that I, Phoebe, personally cannot influence what ethnic group I'm born into. So when that happens, ask yourself, can the person influence it? Is it part of their character? Is it what they have done? That is why I don't want to have anything to do with them. Um, and then it translates into from ethnic groups, from the small ethnic groups in the country to outside the country, where then they start saying Ghana, Togo, Ghana, Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana. And then from that, we go into South Africa, Southern Africa, Saharan Africa to Egypt, and then they say they are not Africans and blah, blah, blah. And then it comes into the bigger picture where they say, oh, they're black, we are white, we are better, they are not, all sorts of things. So it is just, I feel, it's a human trait that we always want to feel we are better than other people because of how we are that we cannot control. and they cannot control. But because we are born that way, we think we are better than other people. It's everywhere, unfortunately. Not just in Ghana, not just in Nigeria. It's basically everywhere.
Thank you very much. So you agree with me that when I said I accepted 70%, you see other parts that I'm actually trying to point out to. We are warming people, we're loving people, but I think we're still failing in different ways, which is also accepting ourselves. And if we fail to accept ourselves, how do we present ourselves for people to accept us with regards to the environment we have presently, which is Germany? Do you think that if we had accepted ourselves more, we would have been accepted more by the German society?
Oh, that's a tough question. Um, Personally, individually, I would always say that know who you are, what makes you you, what you like, what you do not like. And once you have done this self reflection, you would know what works in certain circumstances. So, for example, maybe you see people eating, what kind of example can I bring? Um, let's say I see somebody eating pork and I don't eat pork because maybe my ethnic group just abhors pork. So there's a fly. My ethnic group abhors people eating pork or something. And I've asked myself, why do they not like pork? And maybe I ask an older person to explain it to me, okay, because of this, and that. And I come to Germany and I see somebody eating pork and I realize that that reason they gave me does not apply here. Okay, so I am going to eat the pork and be fine with it. And this is going to help me connect with other people around me. Or let's say when they ask you why you will not do certain things, you know why you will not do it, you know why you do it. For example, also that's the other way. If you know why you do certain things, then it makes it easier for you to stand to yourself and say, this is why I do not buy into this other principle. I stick by mine. So if you know why you do things and who you are, then of course the other person has no other choice than to accept you for who you are because you have justified yourself. You have a reason why you're doing it. But if you are blindly following culture, if you are blindly following traditions without asking yourself why these questions are, then so of course you have to accept yourself and accept yourself in who you are. So for example, as a woman, if I want to wear a wig because I want to change my hairstyle, I will not want to wear a wig because I want to look like my Caucasian counterpart. No, because obviously my hair is never going to be like that. But maybe I want to change my look. And so if they ask me, why did you change it? I'll be like, I said I wanted to look different. It doesn't have anything to do with you. It's not because I feel inferior in my features. It's not because I don't want to be who I am because I love who I am. I can wear braids today. I can wear my natural hair tomorrow. I can wear a wig tomorrow. That's it. But if you know who you are, nobody can see. Even and at that point, if I know who I am and I'm okay with it, your acceptance,
Doesn't matter.
yeah.
That's a nice one. I've actually been following your analysis and you're driving to several questions that I have in mind. You just mentioned wig, putting on a new look. I've had uh, a live session whereby a particular lady made mention of each time she puts on a new hairstyle or new wig or whatever, where she walks, people actually indirectly ask, are you this person? Which is to just tell her that yesterday we knew you, today we are not recognizing you. And she said it happened on and on and on until she had to quit her job. Do you
Hmm.
have you ever experienced such?
Well, honestly, growing up in an African household, changing your hairstyle every day or every 2 weeks or every 2 weeks, it's gang and gäbe. It's normal. It's usual. So I remember when I was changing my hairstyle, my friends were like, "Woo, Shabina was lying," and I was like
Shavina.
experimenting. I was like experimenting, and of course, some hairstyles change how you look, and um maybe her colleagues needed a little more enlightenment or clarification on why we change our hairstyles, why we do this protective styling so we can get up and go. Um, I don't know, but growing up, I've always had it, and some even all through my career, I always come with a new hairstyle. And some colleagues ask me, "What did you do differently?" I'll say, "I added extensions." I'll say, "Oh, I just changed the hairstyle," or maybe it's a wig extension or something. For me, I'm open about it because I'm confident in myself. So if it's an extension, other people wear extensions too. Other kinds of people, other ethnic groups, they wear extensions as well. So wearing an extension is not anything but I wouldn't hide. So if you ask me, I'll open up and say it's an extension, but that's okay for me. I'm confident in that. So yeah, some people do not understand it and they'll just keep bothering you. If you can just open up, talk about it, it's nothing serious really. It's just a hairstyle. For me,
But
some people might just say,
would you attach the inability to explain the way you would explain to also an effect of the knowledge of the language that many Africans ignore, especially Africans living in Germany?
that because she couldn't speak the language, she couldn't explain it.
Yeah. Would you
It
think
could
that
be
it might be a reason?
it could be a reason. Of course, language barrier doesn't end at um you speaking to authority. So it doesn't start there. It starts in your day-to-day activities. So sometimes, I remember as when I first came to Germany, I wouldn't be talking so much because I didn't have the vocabulary. You'd ask me something, and I'd be like, and I have to go back home and remind myself, like, refresh my memory or learn new words on what we talked about to come back and talk about it again to you. So it's all different things. It could be different Africans. Some people also they feel shy to talk about it, being like, oh, it's an extension, or they think because it's our culture, they don't know it, it's something new. Don't judge for them. Since they were bold enough to ask, give them the answer. They asked for it, give it to them. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now, going back to cultural values, apart from being black, what makes you an African?
Apart from being black, what makes me African? Apart from the color of my skin, of
Yeah.
course, it's um what I've been taught, my traditions. It is my experiences. It is what I have lived, what I have been able to absorb as I'm growing up, and some experiences I can only have because I was born to African parents. Just that.
So, what would you, to this present environment that you live in or that you've been living in, what are the cultural norms that you think that you've brought, and no matter what, you cannot change it because this is your value, this is who you are, regardless of whatever happens. Yeah, this is me. I'm an African. Africa will do this, and that is who I am.
Um, One very important thing that being an African means to me is respect. Respect for each other, respect for elderly people. Um, Respect, respect. It's something that um, my parents just imbibed into us, like especially my mom. Respect everybody you meet, respect everybody you meet, and also this um, resilience. African resilience is that type that says no matter how bad it is today, I'm going to fight through it. And but this resilience, though, I say resilience and not endurance because I feel like fighting through something is not sitting down and letting things happen to you and bearing everything that comes your way. No, I say resilience because I choose the battles that I want to fight and what
Hmm.
I want to go through because of certain purpose, but I'm not going to fight through or stay through a bad marriage because I'm an African woman. I have to stay married. God forbid that will not be me. But if it's me working towards something good and I have to go through certain things to get to it, then yes, I love that African resilience that we are being taught not to give up and nothing good comes easy and all of that. So respect for that, I'm always going to be on that. My children, my children's children will have to respect everyone, respect the elderly people, and respect is not just saying auntie and uncle to everyone. It is actually acting out respect to them.
Would you think that the environment you are now actually accommodates you with regards to your culture and your belief? is it accommodating enough? Because we say we're in a free society, free world. Do you think you can fully exhibit who you are with regards to your culture and your traditions and this respect or value systems that we talk about?
Hmm. That's a good question. When it comes to me and my culture, personally, I have said that I've become a culture buffet person. I pick what works for me and I stick by it. So let's say when it comes to my African culture, I take what works for me. What does not work for me, I'm sorry, because culture is made of tradition and traditions evolve. So I'm going to take what works for me personally and stick with it. When I see that certain things do not work for me in this current environment that I am, because I want to achieve certain things, I have to let go of these things. So it's not every aspect of culture that I have to take. I will take the positive aspects, and those are very much, very much easy for me to live out. So as I said earlier, respect, as I said earlier, um, let's say, what can I say? When it comes to culture, like when it comes to food, it's not easy to get everything, but as much as I can, I would eat my African food if it's possible. And of course, because the setup here is different. For example, if I cook nut soup with all my dry fish, I have to make sure that I keep the windows open throughout the day so that the air passes through. You can do it, but you always have to make sure that you think about it, you self-reflect, and um, just make sure things work out for you personally. You don't follow culture blindly to your peril. That doesn't make sense. So look out for what works for you, take out the elements that work for you, and work with it. And of course, you can also just freestyle it, reinvent those cultural aspects, and also know what the core purpose of that cultural value is. Yeah.
I want to make a comparison because many times in several places of the world, you see tribes like the Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Each time you see them, you could always recognize them, and not only because of their way of dressing, and also how they support themselves. If you see, like in Germany, I've seen Indians in top places, and they are most times in top places in the IT, in the top places, and I see that it is because they support themselves. And when you see an Indian woman with another Indian woman, or their ways are crossing or passing by, they greet. There's this sense of cultural belief that, oh, we don't pass by without saying hello in our own way. Do you think, or do you see us in a position where you think, or you might suggest that we need to do better, or are we doing enough with this regard?
Hmm. You know, when you are comparing and standing outside, you don't know what is inside. You don't know how it looks like within the Indian community. When it comes to our community, there are also good aspects that um, we use to push ourselves forward. As you have said earlier, certain tribes would rather push just their own and not welcome other tribes, even though we are from the same country. But that, in its own way, also pushes us forward. Um, Even if it's an illegal thing, still push each other. But the thing is, togetherness can be achieved because I've seen certain things like, for example, you have the Ashanti and you have the Ghanaian union, you have the Tonga union for Ghanaians here, meaning that the willingness to unite is there. The willingness to find people that are like-minded is also there. So we have certain cultural aspects that we are keen on keeping. And as time goes on, we kind of forget that um, we are in a new place, and as a human being, you would always adapt. So, in Germany, you greet those you know, and I'm pretty sure that when Indians see each other, they don't know each other. They just wave or something. But once they know each other, they will take the time and talk to each other. You know, so I don't think it's just that they are always together. They're always, I think in African communities we have that as well, this support, but it might not be as much because maybe our population here in Germany is not that big. Yeah.
Okay. Like I asked you previously, I said, would you say Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter?
When we say Black Lives Matter, um, we are saying Black Lives Matter because now it is a Black Lives um, agenda that needs attention. Of course, on any given day, all lives matter. Everybody needs support. Everybody needs protection. Everybody needs to be treated equally. Everybody has equal rights. We all have to be treated fairly. Yes, but in the sense that when everybody else, apart from the black man, apart from the black person, is being um, discriminated, or no, apart from everybody else is being treated fairly, apart from the black man, that's what I mean. Then we have to talk about the Black Lives Matter. I read this analogy once that said if they're all houses on the street are fine, but one house, you don't call the fire service for all of the house. You call the fire service for that one house that is burning, right? So now it is the African house, the black man's house that is burning. So we are calling the fire service on it. It's that house that is attention. This is what we are going to be doing. And on the other hand, too, racism happens in all directions, in all forms. I mean, as I said in the beginning of the interview, human beings want to feel better than other people, want to treat other people worse because it makes us feel good. It is what it is. But but the effects of racism from white to black are really, really heavy, much heavier than any other direction. So this is why we need to focus on Black Lives Matter and deal with it and find solutions and make sure that this thing goes away as fast as possible.
I don't know if you saw many of the rallies, especially in Germany, with regards to this Black Lives Matters. I hardly see 1% being black in those rallies. We still see Germans, we still see, they are the frontiers and the black people are not coming out. What do you see to that?
When it comes to that, I've had a few conversations, and um, one of the things that I kept hearing was, it's because we ourselves, we're also discriminating against each other, right? So that was a lot of things I was hearing. Right? So I was hearing that lots of the time. So we, with each other, we are not even united. Unless we treat each other well, then we can expect the world to treat us well as well. But I do not fully agree to that because the main thing is it affects all of us. It affects all of us. So no matter whether you are from a different ethnic group within the black community or whatever, just go out and support. Go out and let them know that we are here. On the other hand, too, of all the 80 something million people in Germany, their percentage that is black is also not that much. So now it is if a black man goes out, if one black man goes out, it is his 10 friends, two from Italy, one from the Swiss, eight from Germany. They are supporting him personally. So of course, then you see that there are more Caucasian people than black people because they are also supporting the movement. That they also know better and want to show the other people that hey, it should be well done. I think that turnout actually was for me a positive sign that hey, people are getting to know our woes. They are getting to know what we are going through, and they are taking us seriously. Because I remember back in high school when I was complaining that my teachers are being racist. My friends didn't understand it. My friends didn't get it. They didn't know what I meant by saying, "Hey, there's racistisch mir, they behandelt mich falsch." They'd be like, "Oh, yeah, exactly." They didn't get it. So with that, and me seeing that, it made me feel like, whew, at least we have gotten somewhere that other people who do not have to go through what we go through, who do not even understand, are now getting to see something. So yeah, on one side, I wish they wouldn't think that we are not going to support because we need more unity because it would come. It will come. Now let's act together for one. Let the unity be now. Two, I see that as a good sign that other people, other communities are also seeing that we are suffering and we need to be heard. Yeah.
Would you, like for me personally, I think if we hold on to our cultural values, which respect is also a very key word, and you also mentioned it. I think if we maintain that those values we have, respect, understanding, love, accommodating, uh, like I always tell people, like come from a race where there's this voodoo called Shango or Ogun. When you do bad, it strikes you to death. You know, there's this consciousness from your subconsciousness. You know that you don't steal, you don't do this, you don't take what belongs to you. And in many cases, our complexion speaks so much for us in terms of recognition. If you see an Arab guy with walking along the street and you see another nationality, like for me, apart from their hairstyle, I can hardly differentiate where someone is coming from when I look at the picture or image. I say, oh, this person, is he white? Is he brown? Is he okay? He's not black. That's all I know. You understand? But anyone who sees me can always say, oh, he's a black man because we are easy to know. And do we position ourselves in places that would be easy to be identified for good, or are we mostly identified with difficult things? Let me use that word.
What you're asking me, let me try to rephrase it, is are we presenting ourselves in a
Representing
space
ourselves
where,
well.
whew, you know, the other day I was talking with my mother-in-law and I was telling her that when I go out to translate and I see my African brothers fully in crime and there's not even a way to bail them out because he's guilty, I feel so bad because already they are telling us we are criminals and they're also confirming the statistics, right? That yes, black people they love drugs, black people they are fraudsters, black people they are this, they are aggressive, they are this. Unfortunately, one black person will be putting us in a good light and the others wouldn't. I understand that we are coming from different circumstances. We are coming from different places. But one thing that has failed us in our cultural thing is that unfortunately some of us were trained on the basis of fear.
Hmm.
Even when it comes to our religion, if you don't go to church, you go to hell. If you don't do this, you will suffer. Um, and it's always by punishment. It's always by fear, always by punishment. So once there is a delay in punishment for that person, the person feels like, ooh, this is okay for me to do. Unless they see the punishment as imminent right in front of them, that's when they would stop. But some people do not have the maturity to say that this punishment could even come in 10 years because they are not that they are being quite short-sighted. So unfortunately, that is also another thing of our culture that we have to fix personally as well. Each one for himself individual that even when it comes to religion, if you are a Christian, know that okay, I'm being a Christian because these are the values of Christianity. That God wants me as a friend, that God wants me to walk with him, that God wants me to treat my neighbors right, and it's not because he doesn't want me to go so because he wants to punish me. That punishment narrative is also another thing that I feel, according to my observation, is doing a lot of things. But in a nutshell, unfortunately, yes, a lot of us um, misrepresenting us. And the thing is, if they were always writing in the newspapers that about South Africana, about it was a black person, it was a this. If they were writing those and it wasn't true, at some point the credibility would be lost. In my country, we say, "Mawon campus, on your home." Like let them say, but don't let it be true. Let people
Hmm.
speak rumors about you, but don't let those rumors be verified. And unfortunately for us, whenever I see that, a little bit of my heart breaks every time because they are making it true. They are making it true, and the honest price of the few of us who are trying to be better people for ourselves, it feels like it's all been in vain. But no, we will keep doing good. We'll keep being better versions of ourselves.
I'm going to ask a very, very critical and sensitive question. I didn't plan this, but it just came to my head. I did a video, I think, sometimes in March, and I'm not judging now, but the question was, how did we get here as Africans to single parenthood? This wasn't our culture. This wasn't who we are. But because many of us got to an environment whereby you get paid, you get support, and they feel it is a way of extorting the the society or the social, uh, the government, let me use that word. And we find, I see personally, I'm not judging, but I see personally that many African women now don't want to have a family with a man. They just want to have kids. They so that they can get support from the government, and they go back home and build houses. And I see the effect on the children, and I feel this is not representing us. And you would see that as many African women who are trying to make impact in the society, to paint the story differently, two people will be positive. You see 20, 30 people still going down the same trail, and they see us as lazy people, people who are just coming here to live on their economy. What do you see to that?
This question is has a lot of facets. The answer is not just one answer, and that's as a woman, as an African, young African black woman, I have to give you answers in two directions. To my left side, African women, we are tired of suffering the name of marriage. We don't do, we don't go do again. If the marriage is no good, pack your things and leave.
Mm.
Unlike my grandmother who would sit with a man and watch him marry two other wives and bring them, oh, because my children are safe, because my children are safe. I remember when I was a child, okay, I wasn't that young, but they'll tell you Angela Merkel is women's chancellor. This country is for women. Go out and fight for your rights. That's what we're telling each other, Don't sit in a bad marriage. You don't have to suffer this emotional torture. Don't do that. That is one thing that sometimes when they realize that what connects most women to their husbands is the financial dependency. They depend on him for the upkeep of the home. So once that string is taken off, she buys her freedom. You get that?
Yeah.
That is for the honest woman who is really suffering and going through a lot. And there are also women who would rather work than fall onto the social system because of pride for themselves or different factors. I can't say everything now, but that is um, one side of the story. The other side is I always say that sometimes you have to be true to yourself. Okay, you cannot tell me you are a good Christian if you would lie to your government. Romans chapter 13 verse 1 says, "Obey your authority."
Yeah.
That's just what it is. So you might have made mistakes in the past, but you realize later that once you start lying, lies don't add up, and you keep going on and on and on, and then at the end of the day, you have to just complain and say, okay, I messed up here, I messed up there, or it has grave consequences or effects on your children. Yes, that also happens. But sometimes some people do not know any better. As you were saying that we are not unified, sometimes in our unity we spread wrong information because that is how we did it. So when somebody else comes in new, we tell the person that same information because we feel there are loopholes in the legal system. So we'll take advantage of that. So unfortunately, yes, let's, one side is that economic dependency is no more there. If she wants her freedom, the government helps her to get her freedom. The state helps her, yes. On the other hand, those who want to lie and want to fraud the government, we cannot help them. But just say that if you are thinking of such a thing, just think about the consequences, what it will mean for you. If you're ready to live with those lies and these things are going to stay on record forever, up to you. But um, I always say that being honest and keeping a straight record makes things easier for you because you could end up anywhere. You could end up anywhere, and it is what might be waiting some years further within that current situation. So, if you can, please always be honest about it.
Let's compare America to Germany, for example. I'm using this comparison with regards to the last president was a black president, was a black man, Barack Obama. Do you see that happening in Germany in the future?
Why not? Why not?
Okay,
There are black Germans. Suttenhausen, Stuttgart Suttenhausen has the black mayor. Why not? We
that's
have black
impressive.
people in parliament. So I mean, in the Bundestag. So why not? I mean, everything good. We deserve good things. So we deserve encouragement. We children, I'm saying children, but we want to see better things. And once we believe that we can do it, it can only push us to go higher. Yes, why not?
Like I told some friends, I said I'm not the outgoing type, but each time I go out, maybe to offices, to places, like I was impressed when I saw you the day I saw you. I was like, oh, thank God, because there was a time I needed a translator, and it was a Pakistan, and I couldn't also express myself. And I know that or maybe 60% of what it was saying was not what I was trying to say, and I couldn't help myself. So it all depends on us, how we position ourselves in the society and how well we're doing before we can get to that level. So I will ask you, what advice do you think we can give to our African people, especially the ones living in Germany, with regards to culture? Because you cannot say you want to rule, you want to be in high places in this country without not understanding their value system, their cultural beliefs, and you would say, no, I don't go here, no, I don't do this, no, discriminating and so on and so forth.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity to say this. Um, Number one, there's a Ghanaian proverb that says that a stranger would not know where the treasure of the community is if they don't go to somebody who is from that village, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is, once you come to Germany, mingle with Germans, mingle with the residents of Germany. And according to the aims that you have, so if you want to be like, if you want to become an engineer in Germany, you look for people who are studying engineering. You look for made engineers and mingle with them, right? So if you want to know what is in here for you need to be with somebody who has been here, who has been here for a long time, somebody who was born here, for example. I said that in one of my YouTube videos. Find your contact person here. And another thing that I'll say is that I some well, not sometimes, but most of the time when I scroll through Facebook groups for Africans in Germany, um, so maybe 80% of the time, there's this imaginary barrier between us and Germans. They're like, I don't like Germans. We German people are like that. Yes, and collectively, there are certain things that they might do, or some of them might do, but you've not met every individual German. So we should try not to generalize one thing. Do not generalize because you don't also want them to generalize you. For example, if they say all Africans are weed smokers, you'll be like, no, I'm not one. If you're one, you'll be like, I smoke sativa, I do this. That could be something. So don't generalize all stereotypes. Get to know them one on one. That's one thing. Number two, um, break into the culture. So learn the language, try out the food, try the music. You will not like everything, but try to be part of the place so that you would feel comfortable. And if you don't have German friends, you wouldn't know, for example, if the house next to yours, the apartment there is free because you don't know anybody there. So even if it's cheaper than where you are staying now, you wouldn't know. So try to make friends, German friends. Try to be open-minded, and also try to always self-reflect. So what have I learned that I can unlearn and relearn in a different way? So you don't stick by certain values that are probably archaic or outdated or do not fit into your current society where you are. Reinvent yourself so that you always be flexible. Yeah. I'm not saying that do not have any principles or anything. No, be open-minded and see what will work for you as well.
You When we started, you were talking about pork, and I want to share a little experience about it. Like, I
Okay.
had this belief also that we don't eat pork. In short, anything pork, you don't go near it. It is filthy, it is dirty, it has been caused, and blah blah blah. And when I first got to Germany, I got to the supermarket, I think Lidl, and you will see the prices of beef. Then I didn't know what pork was in German. Everything was meat to me. I could only identify chicken when I see them, but the others, they are meat. And
Yeah.
I know that way back in Nigeria, you hardly see people display pork in the market like they would display other beefs. And that was what I thought, that they would tell you, oh, or there are separate places that they sell pork, for example. So I had eaten pork for months
Did you
before
now?
before I realized before I realized that Schwein means pork. And the funny thing is, You need to look at the package. You will see that they also drew it. But I was
Yes.
not focusing on the drawing or the labels. I was focusing on the price because it is cheap. I just
Mm-hmm.
pick it. I said, okay, we'll get home. I had pork for months. After when I now realized this is pork, I now ask myself, have I been a fool all this while? Because if I have been asked now from someone at home, do you eat pork? I will say me over my dead body. I will not eat pork. So until I realized it, I now accepted it that okay, since I did not die, and this is the cheapest meat I can get around. If I want to go for beef, I know how much beef costs in the market. I'd rather eat
Yes.
pork and have little savings than stay on to that belief and not have anything. So, with regards to that, I also want to use this medium to tell people that there are a lot of things that we get wrongly. And at the end of the day, if you see that medically it is wrong, yes. If you say spiritually it is not your belief spiritually, well, I'm not against it. But I know that each time I go to the supermarket, when I see beefs, when I see reined flesh, when I see all those ones, I see their prices, I kind of look away because at the end of the day, I don't get to take money back home if I focus on that. So
Yes.
that's a lesson. It might not be on food alone. There are other things that we believed it worked in Nigeria, but it won't work here. I
Yes.
lived in a time where people started making banku. I was like, what is banku? You understand? I never heard about banku before. And the people I lived with, they will eat it in the morning, eat it in the night, afternoon, eat it in the night. I was doing big, but I said no. I was not trained this way. But when I started spending money on food, I realized it is only Banku that can do it. Oh. When you eat the Banku, when you eat the Banku once, your belly is filled. You understand?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and people back home don't understand what people out here needs to go through, need to deprive themselves of. We try to leave some beliefs, leave some traditions, try to do some things to survive. And nonetheless, they now judge. They judge you and say, oh, look at the skimpy knicker you are wearing. I tell many people that you cannot compare Nigerian hotness with German hotness. They are different things. So if you wear skimpy knicker or skimpy shorts, do you still get judged by African people that, oh, look at the way you're dressed?
Uh, as I said in the beginning, I know what I want. I know what works for me. If I am okay with it, I've closed my ears to what you are saying. That's how I function basically. Um, excuse me. I wear what I wear here when I go back home to Ghana. And I remember once my cousin was like, "They would think you're a prostitute." Let them think. At the end of the day, we have titled certain things and made things too strict for ourselves that we can't even move. We can't even move. We don't know what to do. Listen, go back into African history. Go back to those days of colonization. What were our African grandmothers wearing before colonization? What were they wearing? They were bare chested. They were bare chested. It's today that we feel like, okay, this has to be covered because it's sexually enticing, because it shows civilization, yes. But at the same time, if I'm sweating, and this is what will help me not to get some kind of skin outbreak, please let me breathe. I would let my skin breathe, regardless of what you think. I know who I am. I know I'm an honest young woman. I know I'm somebody who would not cheat anybody of their money. I know I'm not going to um accept advances from married men or from other men apart from my men. So I can handle it. And here I don't hear it much. Yeah, okay. Here I'm not also too much into the African community like I was when I was younger. But um, here it's normal. Here it's normal. But when you go back home, they kind of judge and say because you did this, you are not like this. And then my family knows me, and the other ones I care about. And those who are bold enough to ask questions, we talk about it. We talk about it, and then they are much more at ease than before. But yes, um,
I
know
okay.
who you are, know what works for you.
I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria, and I know that days have changed. But I remember that those days, if you walk through the market and you are on a bumpy short as a young lady, they will harass you. And we say that things are better. Things are better. I am this kind of guy that I don't judge, but I rather put on a shirt than put on a polo, because even while in Germany or in Nigeria too, a policeman will judge you by your dressing. They will judge you by your hairstyle. They will judge you by your tattoo. So several times I drove at night from work. I will change to maybe polo. I get pulled down, pulled over by policemen. But I noticed that each time they drive by and they see that, oh, I'm on my spec, I'm on shirt, they just drive by. So I took it as an habit. I said, okay, this won't cause me trouble. This is who I want, who I want to be, and this is who I want to be seen as. So you, as much as I know myself, like you explained, you know yourself, people will judge you. And sometimes you say it is a girl, it doesn't matter what they think. But sometimes I still see it that it makes us fall into some situations that we need to explain ourselves out. Because I remember at a particular night, I had to do alcohol test where I didn't smoke. They test me with everything. Why? Because I was putting on a polo and a joggers and a canvas. Have you
That was
have
where
you
in Nigeria,
in Germany here? In Germany here.
in Germany.
Yes. So I
Okay.
won't say that it is not just because it does not only happen in Africa, it also happened here. Do you
Okay.
see it often, not just from Africans, I mean from Germans or from other foreigners? Do they judge you by your appearance, by your dressing? Have you seen it? Because I have seen it.
Well, hmm, you've seen me in court before. I'm covered up because I feel like when you're in a professional space, you don't have to distract with anything. Just keep it simple, and that's why the judge is also wearing his robe because we have to we cannot be distracting our impressions with certain things, right? Um, and every time I'm covered up to work, you'll be surprised that there would be people who would be whistling. There was somebody who would come to me, hi, hello, can you know my hub? Can you traffic thinking? They probably even asked me how much before. Can you
Wow.
imagine? And I'm in a dress down to my knee. I'm wearing my sandals. I'm wearing my shoes covered, totally covered, with a business handbag. So the thing is, if somebody is out to be stupid, they are out to be stupid. There's not much you can do about it. And one thing that I would plead with my brothers and sisters is that when you are in such a situation where you realize that you are being racially profiled or you are being attacked because of the color of your skin, please keep your calm and stay logical because that is how you're going to be able to get to the bottom of that issue. So you ask, if they say do this, fine. As long as it's not going to hurt you physically, um, go. Like let's say they say stand here, do it, and then when they finish and they realize that you are not um,
Or they see
being
you to be.
aggressive, they will let you go. Unfortunately, we have to go through it. It's not just the German ones here. So I see some posts on Twitter as well from the Nigerian SARS. I think SARS. That's how they program it.
Yeah, that's
They
yeah.
have this because somebody has dreadlocks and all of that. Unfortunately, human beings. That's how we are. It's not just the German police that's going to do to you, but here they would have their limits to what they can do. We hear this outcry towards that this unusual things happening, like some sitting on people's neck. We hardly hear that, but yes, racial profiling goes on. I've seen it myself as well. I was fully covered. I was from church on a Sunday, and the way the police talked to me, I was like, "What did I do? What did I do?" But either he was having a bad day or he just didn't like me, and that was it. But then I was able to go because I just kept calm and answered the questions. So let's try to stay logical and not allow our emotions to take over. Then we become irrational and then we can stay on what we did in that moment of affection and it's painful for us. So let's always try to keep calm. If they're
Hmm.
not being nice, just keep a straight face, ask your questions and keep it moving.
Thank you very much. I have engaged you for exactly 1 hour. Before we round up this session, I want you to tell us a little about your YouTube page and what can we find there.
All right. So my YouTube channel is called La Deutsche Vita. So La Deutsche Vita, the German life. It's a mixture of German and Italian, but La Deutsche Vita is all about life in Germany, made in Germany. So I'm talking about everything that concerns us as African expats living in Germany as a foreigner, what you have to know. I give language lessons once a week. So we discuss one German word that is tricky. For example, how to say I miss someone and how to say I miss my bus. It's not the same verb in German, for example. Vermissen, verpassen. I
Yeah.
discussed that La Deutsche Vita. And if you want to check it out, just type into YouTube La Deutsche Vita, LA, space DEUTSCHE, and Vita, VITA. It's a double A at the end. So check it out, La Deutsche Vita. And of course, you can also like the Facebook group of La Deutsche Vita, the same thing. And I also talk about we share recipes. So now I've filmed Kartoffelsalat, a classic German Kartoffelsalat. You can check it out in one of the days, upcoming days. We have Father's recipe already up. It's a fairly new channel, but I have so much more coming. We have discussed racism, and pretty soon we're also going to talk about how I deal with racism and what I think we can do to deal with this problem and how to fight back. All these things and also how to find your way here as a student if you're coming to Germany to study, what you should look out for, if you're a professional coming to Germany, what you should look out for, and all of that.
I think on this last one, I'll have to bring you again that if you want to come to Germany, if you're a professional, if you're a student, and a lot of people want to hear something like that. They want to be informed because every now and then I see people, I get calls or comments of people, and you're like, how can I get here? Because the mentality we have way back home, or many Africans have, is that they want to come and seek for asylum, which was the many of the messages we got. And that is the trend, and that is the path that many Africans, in short, 90% of Africans, that's the path you're going through. So if you're given the privilege to host you again, so you talk much more on immigration with regards to Africans coming here, and especially professionals. We need more people who are intellectuals to actually come in here and explore the land. There's so much here that we can do together. And I believe you would grant me the privilege to have you back once again.
Of course, definitely. But in the meantime, I have the videos up. Visa for qualified professionals is up on my Deutsche Vita on YouTube. I have a
Okay.
video for German student visa as well. It's also up um, for you to see what you should know and what you should know before you move into Germany, what you should look out for. And from the visa application to your blocks account or to your Verpflichtungserklärung that somebody is vouching to take care of your personal bills, all of that is
Mhm.
already on the channel. So if you have any questions, watch the videos. If you think something was not explained into detailed enough, just note it down. The next time I'm here, we'll discuss it.
Trying to put out your Facebook name on the screen so that people can actually already check it out. La
All right.
Dolce, Eutsche Vita. I hope I'm right.
Yeah, I'm writing it down in the comment section as well of the live video
I think it's
in the
right.
chat. Yeah, La Deutsche Vita.
Yeah. So that can be found on Facebook and also on YouTube. So if you have questions on that, they can also direct it to you directly on YouTube. So it's
Exactly.
been a
So on
wonderful
YouTube we have
time.
our sorry, on YouTube we have our business mail as well. It's LDV with Phoebe at gmail.com.
We'll check it
I'll
out, and I
definitely
will refer many people also to your page, to your channel. Each time they ask me a question, I'll say, go check out La Dolce Vita. You get more.
exactly.
If you don't get the answers you want, then let us contact her. Let us bring her back so that she can
Yeah.
talk more about it. Thank you very much once again for coming and spending quite some time with us to share your view with regards to cultural values, cultural systems, your belief, the journey so far, and also letting us know that blacks can do better than
Definitely.
where we are now. So it's already given me joy that, okay, you already saw that it is possible that we have a black president someday
Of
in
course.
Germany.
And one thing that I want us to know as Black people is also that you have to know that you, as a Black person, you are human enough. You are perfect the way that you are. You are not a different category of human being or whatever. That is you buying into the racism as well. That is also another thing that we also have to find. Not just that it is happening to us and we are seeing it, also that we are accepting the racial message. So no, don't
Yeah.
think that, oh, we cannot do it. We can do it. We have the same capabilities as every other person. Circumstances may be different, but you can do it. So don't limit yourself or don't think that you are inferior because my counterpart is Caucasian. No, 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 no. You are enough just as you are.
That's a message. That's a very good message. Don't limit yourself. You can do it. Eniola, you can still be a lawyer. Don't stop. Don't stop.
Of
Don't stop.
course. Let's get into it. Yeah.
Thank you very much for this time once again. I truly appreciate it that you found time out of your busy schedule to make this happen. And I believe that as long as people will continue to watch this video, will pass the message and will make impact not only on this present generation, also generations to come. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye. So thank you very much for your time and also spending time with us as we discuss these cultural values. We've been able to hear from our wonderful sister, whom I quite recently met, and I was impressed. I was like, oh, there are black people also out there who are making difference, who are making impact, who are painting us well. So many times we think that all places we find ourselves are criminal places or where we don't have good records. But believe you me, there are people out there who are making us proud. There are people out there who are putting in effort to make sure that we are positively represented and continue to do your part. Someone someday is going to see you and they will acknowledge that, oh, there's a black man out there who is actually doing well. There's a black woman out there who's actually making difference. All blacks are not the same. We might have been wrongly judged, wrongly represented. But it's high time we make a difference. It's high time we show that there are still good people, and we are always good people. Like she said we have cultural values, which lies also on respect and love. That's the way we're brought up. We respect elders. I still find it difficult to look at the eyes of elderly people because they told us while we're growing that when the elders are speaking, you look down. So those are things I believe, but now Germans will tell you you have to look into their eyes. So sometimes you need to change. Sometimes you need to you check where you are now and say that okay, where you're coming from, what applied there might not apply here. It doesn't change you, but it makes you a better person. Even the Bible says, if you're a Christian, it says when you are in Rome, do as the Romans do. You don't do all their negative things that you think they are negative, but you can always do things that are positive. You can always also adjust to their cultural system, cultural values, their belief. By so doing, you will learn their language, you will eat their food, you will mingle with them, you get opportunities, and you will exploit the land. You know, when you read the Bible and it says, well, anywhere you lay your foot on, you shall possess it. You cannot possess it if you are not speaking the language. You cannot possess it if you are not mingling with them. You cannot possess it if you are not relating. So don't stop. You can do it. Nobody's saying it is easy. It might be difficult, but with time, everything will fall into place. Thank you very much for staying with us once again. And if you have not liked Viewpoint with Eniola, please do like because something good will always be coming your way. We're about mentoring you, we're about motivating you, giving you information, nurturing you so that we can grow and make impact not only on this our present generation, but also generations to come. Stay tuned as I'll be hosting tomorrow a pharmacist who will be talking to us about fertility issues with regards to women fertility issues. I think it will be 6 p.m. Nigeria German time and 5 p.m. Nigerian time. I'll be hosting pharmacist Tokpe. We'll be having a discussion which will cut across issues with women, the menstrual period, menstrual pain, fibroids, and things that are tied with fertility or infertility. And I'll also be having a co-host tomorrow because when it comes to women, what do I know? I'm only a man, but I want to learn. I also want us to share our views because many times there are little things that go on in our lives and we run scatter. I know many Nigerians, when you are newly married, the parents or the families are expecting you in 9 months' time. They are coming to visit you because they want to hear the cry of a baby. And many times this is not happening. There's a lot of pressure on the wife. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about that and see how we can live through that stage. Don't miss it. Once again, this is Viewpoint with Eniola, and I appreciate my guest today, and I hope our path will cross again with informative information. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Bye.